Hi guys, this is Omer from MMOHut.com, and I'm doing another quick weekly recap of MMO news and analysis for the week ending February 19th, 2012. Anyway, as you can see from the video playing in the background, the first piece of news that we're going to be taking a look at this week has to do with Rusty Hearts. The news is that on February 14th, the Requiem update for Rusty Hearts has officially launched. The update adds new story dungeons, training dungeons, raid dungeons, new quests, items, and more. But most notably, the first raid dungeon, Altar, has been added to the game. And in case you haven't heard of Rusty Hearts, it's basically Vindictus, but with more anime-inspired graphics. Probably the best comparison would be the game mixed, Vindictus mixed with maybe Dragon Nest and Dungeon Fighter Online. Also including the update is the new Roselle Vergarius avatar, which is based off France's skills, but that's only available in the game's cash shop. Next up is a small update for War Inc. Battlezone. And the news is on February 13th, the game adds a brand new map called The Citadel to the game. You can actually see that new map in the background right now, but aside from that, a new user interface, a revamp of weapon sounds, and a restructuring of the game's matchmaking system has also been added. Matchmaking should now match players against players of similar levels. Not sure why they didn't do that before, but looks like they are doing it now. And if you actually haven't heard of War Inc. Battlezone yet, it's a 3D MMOFPS game with some actual RPG components, much like Battlefield Heroes in that regard. At least a skill system in place. Its graphics are nothing like Battlefield Heroes. Next bit of news, guys, comes on February 15th, and it's the 7 Souls Online begins its closed beta testing. Now, 7 Souls Online is the same exact game as Martial Empires. I did mention this before, but the game's closed beta has now begun. I have said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I think it's a bit odd that the game is available under 2 different names in 2 different regions. Not sure why they didn't just have one global server, but right now the European version is called Martial Empires, while the North American version will be called 7 Souls Online. The game will be published by NeoWiz, which also publishes War of Angels. As expected, there will be a wipe after the closed beta, but of course there won't be a wipe after open beta. There's still no scheduled date for the open beta, though. The game features a blend of both Eastern and Western cultures with science fiction thrown into the mix, as well as 3 playable classes at launch. The next bit of news, guys, comes on February 14th and is about Allods Online. And the news is that patch 3.0 officially launched, which increased the game's level cap to 51, adds a new raid instance, the Dead City, which has 10 raid bosses, as well as adds a new currency exchange system to the game, which lets players purchase gem shards with gold. Aside from the level cap increase, though, the most notable update is probably the new playable class, the Bard. The full 3.0 patch notes are available on the GPotato website. They're actually quite extensive, and a lot of changes have been made to Allods Online since launch. It's actually changed quite a bit since launch. If you haven't played it in a while, it's probably worth checking out. Up next, on February 15th, Gravity announced that on March 7th, the Requiem servers for both the Korean and North American service will merge. That's actually kind of odd because you don't usually see that when the Korean and North American servers are merging. Probably not a good sign for players because the game's player base is probably dwindling, but the fact that they are merging servers will actually increase the player base on the one server they actually do merge into. To help players after the migration, there'll be several world events going on in Requiem. Gravity Interactive also publishes Ragnarok Online and Dragon Saga. They're definitely best known for Ragnarok Online. The server merges again are taking place on March 7th. Next up on February 14th, don't you love how I go in order on these? Perfect World launches Descent, which is the latest content update for the game. It adds a lot of new high-level content to the game, which adds new storylines, quests, instances, zones, items, gear, all that good stuff. But most importantly, though, is many of the game's class skills have been rebalanced, with new master skills being added to the game. Many of the new master skills are available at level 80. The video you are seeing in the background is the official launch trailer for the Descent update. To celebrate the launch of Descent, Perfect World is actually giving away a few gaming keyboard and other gear for players who log in between February 7th and 21. Simply log in for a chance to win. Next bit of news is about Forsaken World, and the news is that on February 16th, Perfect World released some information about the next update for the game called Nightfall. One thing we really even know about Nightfall is it'll have a brand new flight system, and with flight comes new bosses, dungeons, and events specifically designed with flying in mind. A new Sky Fortress area has been shown in the trailer, as well as some of the screenshots they've released already. The game's Immortal Rift system is also being redesigned. Guilds may now claim territory and defend it. The release date for the Nightfall update has yet to be announced, but it'll be coming sometime in the near future. Next up is some big news from OG Planet. On February 16th, they announced that they'll be publishing the free-to-play hardcore FPS game Tactical Intervention later this spring. Now, the game was announced quite a while ago, but now we know that OG Planet will be publishing it. The game has been in development for quite a while, and the game's development was led by Min Guzman Le, creator of Counter-Strike apparently, so that is definitely big news for FPS fans. The game promises many innovations, most notably re-evolutions and team focus. So team focus has always been a big part of FPS games, at least competitively. It is set to begin its closed beta testing sometime in March. Next and last bit of news is a small update, well, not really an update, but some news from Brawl Busters, and the news is on February 17th, Rocket came out and said that Brawl Busters will be launching on Steam. It's actually now available on Steam. So you can see Steam is becoming more and more of a platform for free-to-play games as well. With the launch of the game on Steam, there's really no content update attached with that, but it's still cool to see more and more free-to-play MMOs being available on Steam, considering Steam is sort of the main platform for most gamers nowadays anyway. At least most PC gamers. Having easy access to all your MMOs on one platform is definitely helpful. Guys, that's it for MMO news, but as for games coming soon, we have nothing. But as for games recently launched, we have Eligium, which began its open beta on February 15th. Now, the game is published by Frogstar, and it's their newest MMO. This open beta is available in English, but the game is also being localized for German, Polish, and French languages, which is actually kind of cool. Going forward, there will be no character wipes, and several events will be going on in the open beta to celebrate the game's launch into open beta. Anyway guys, that's it for MMO news and announcements for the week ending February 19th, 2012. Now if you want to read about or learn more about any news mentioned in this video, simply head on over to MMOHut.com/news. And if you want to discuss anything in this video, simply head on over to MMOHut.com/forums. Anyway guys, it's Omer, signing off.